Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 208, Eastbound and Down, and Lone Star Throwdown. Here we go.
This one was a budget. This was over COVID. Some people were coming home with toilet paper. I came home with a Dodge in March. So, I mean, I don't like to say that. Not a Dodge guy, but hey, it turned out, right?
Damn, son. Hey, guys, one of the biggest upgrades I was able to make on Orange Slice is my lighting. Think about this. You've got your old school sealed yellow lights. You put in new United Pacific headlights, boom, quadruple the lightage. They look better, they perform better, and guess what? They're safer. So you've got LED options, you've got new headlight options. They look great. And honestly, we upgrade so many things with our trucks. Why not upgrade the lighting? When you do, think United Pacific. Here's the best part. You get to save 15% off all C10 products by using code C10TALK15. Save 15% off all C10 products by using code C10TALK15. Go to upcarparts.com. That's right, upcarparts.com. I don't think you'll forget it. Save today. Thanks, guys. Give them a follow on social media too, Facebook and Instagram.
Let me tell you what Melba's Toast is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
What does that do? Did that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man, he's a television repairman. Got the ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Poche.
What is up, my brothers, my sisters, C10 Nation, episode 208 coming at you. LST, Lone Star Throwdown, their 10th anniversary. We did it, Eastbound and Down. You guys were following. I got a ton of compliments and comments on the coverage, us going out, the show, and then getting our asses home. So, the normal Wednesday, we meet up. It's just awesome. Great support, the community. I never did really count how many people, trucks, the group in general. I know some guys get there a little early. They, really quick. They're in, they're out. But all in all, we had a pretty good sized group, and everybody kind of stayed together. If, maybe like a few hours apart, it counts. So we meet up on Wednesday, we roll, we cruise. I had a little bit of a tire issue at the beginning with a bubble, which was luck. I was fueling up and I see a little bit of a bubble on, of course, what is the newest tire on the trailer. Fix that. And then we kind of keep cruising. Then I think it was the first night, was Wednesday night. So we go to Rainbow, we go to Pablo's Rust Garage, Rainbow Fountain 2. He loads us up. It's a little bit of a family reunion. We get together, once a year in the parking lot. Some of the El Paso, El Chuco, New Mexico, C10 Club guys, and that whole little area, they all kind of come out. And it's fun because there's rad trucks, rad people, rad food. So we leave. Pablo, thank you as always, so gracious and really takes care of our community. We roll. I'm going to guess, I don't even remember, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'm driving my big rig, Orange Slice in the trailer. I look out the right side mirror and I see sparks. Now, we're on I-10. We're cruising 75 miles an hour. We're about 18 miles from Van Horn, Texas. I see sparks. Oh shit, we got sparks. Pull over. Well, I don't want to get into the soft stuff, so I stay on the 10 and the shoulder is just about all I got. I mean, I can barely fit the trailer on the shoulder. So I get out and I look right side and I'm thinking, okay, I got a flat or two, whatever. Hell no. Not just one flat, not just two flats, but both wheels are absolutely gone. So I've got a trailer on the 10, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And I'm literally on the hubs. I'm like, how in the hell is this possible? And what are we going to do? Another thing, I've got 2 spares. Cool. There is no lug nuts. They're gone. When the wheels went, the lugs went. So there's no way to even mount the spares, which would be the easy fix. If the tire's shredded and the wheels stayed, then, hey, jack it up, pull the wheels off, put the spares on. Here we go. Later. Nah, it didn't work that way. So the Provost pit crew, Provost Motorsports, let me think here. Dennis, Aaron, Mike. Oh, the one guy, I forget his name. Hey, dude, that drives Goldie a lot. I'm thinking of your Instagram. He's in there. Everybody was in there. And by the time the Provost guys got to us, a few other guys had got to us, and we needed everybody just to direct traffic because it's at, the I-10 and vroom, 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 trucks, semis, cars going 70 miles an hour, blowing right by us. Just to give you an idea, my driver's side, left side of the trailer, there might have been 6 inches between the white line and the trailer. That's how close I am to, being in the 10. So everybody kind of puts their minds together, and this is what's cool about it all. The other thing is I needed their jack. So my jack would not lift the trailer and the truck being in there. It was not going up. So Provost guys get there, 3-ton jack, bam, throw it underneath there, and they had 2 jack stands. So the other thing, side note, asterisk, probably the most important thing is I was like, whatever, this is fine. Open the door. Is the slice okay? Thank God. Another reason to make sure you guys cross load your straps, kind of X marks the spot, because if that wouldn't have been that way, I feel like the slice, there's probably 1.5 inches on both sides. Inner fender well, doors of the truck. It's tight. Open it up. The truck did shift, but we had anywhere from 3/4 and 7/8. So not quite 1 inch, not quite 1/2 inch. It was tight. Jack up the trailer so that I can get the truck out, use the jack stands, get the truck out, and now we're cooking with gas. So get orange slice out, trailer's lighter, and okay, what are we going to do? So we had all these different ideas and different thoughts. Well, the one that was the best idea and the best thought was take the driver's side front wheel off, take the driver's side front hub off, put it on the rear of the passenger side. So hub comes off, hub goes on, wheel goes on. Now I've got a 4-legged dog with 2 good legs, but I got an empty trailer. What's in the trailer is all the gear, all the stuff for the booth, but that's up front, tongue weight. So that worked. Get to Van Horn. Hey, whoever's in Van Horn, what do you got? Brian Zaccardi had 2 Super Duty 1000 ply tires. Grab those 2, threw them on there, boom, get into Fort Stockton. The next morning, Fort Stockton's got a trailer shop, throw on 2 new hubs, and use my spares. Got some new tires, and then bought another wheel to make sure that I had at least 1 more spare. So I went from 2 spares to 1 brand new wheel, and it all worked out. So that was the fun of the trailer, the truck, and There was a few other things that happened. I know Goldie was having some rear axle seal problems, kept getting hot. So Bowman was there to, empty trailer. Of course, Bowman's he's like the public safety hero for these trips because he's so mechanically inclined. He's usually, around, and he's got a lot of tools, and he's always willing to help. So he had an empty trailer. I know he, a few different times we utilized that. The Provost guys had some space. So, they'd put Goldie up on there, get Goldie down, or get somebody else's switching out. And that's just part of it. Now, another funny one that I don't know was really captured all that well on social media, but I again was involved because we were at Fort Stockton getting the trailer, getting the hubs, getting the tires. So we were behind. Everybody starts rolling out. All right, we'll catch you guys. And Orange Slice, boom, I think Johnny and I don't know if it was Goose. Somebody else was in Orange Slice. I think it was Johnny and Goose. So Johnny G, my boy Goose, Chad, they're in Orange Slice. Me and my buddy G Breezy Fresh and Easy are in my truck. Here we go. So they're like, hey, have you left Fort Stockton? No. All right, we need a belt. Sam Castronova, he's in the 73 Jimmy. He lost the alternator belt, and it's affecting the water pump. He's overheating. He's got no power. He needs a belt. Okay, got it. Go to Napa. They don't got it. Go to O'Reilly's. They got it. I should have bought two probably, just make sure. But anyway, we got the belt, and they're like, all right, bring us the belt. So we're behind. Everybody's waiting. They're off the side of the hill. And on the 10 where we're at, it literally crests, or where they're at, it crests and then kind of come down. So as soon as we knew the mile marker, as soon as we get to this crest, we know they're right over the top. Here there's going to be 10 vehicles on the side of the road. It's clear. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Perfect. Okay. Boom. Here we go. My buddy G Breezy's driving. I'm all, Greg, do not go below 80. If you want to get in the middle and not be on the, the right lane, you want to be in the middle, get in the middle, hammer down. So we got my big truck, the Duramax, and the trailer. Here we go. So we come up over this hill. I said, dude, do not go below 80. Friggin' drop the hammer. And these guys are like, sweet, here comes the belt. We've been sitting around, on our asses for an hour waiting. Belt, here we go. They think I'm going to slow down, or we're going to slow down. No. Roll down the window, freaking toss that belt, going 83 miles an hour. Boom, here goes the belt. There's 10 dudes or 20 dudes, 10 cars on the side of the road. Boom, there's the friggin' belt. Mike from Poised Hipster, he's films it, and he gets it perfect. It lands right at his feet. Hilarious. So that was kind of one of the funny moments at that point. That was the second day, Thursday. It's fun. Shenanigans, it's just good times, good people. Half of the time, the trip or the journey, the destination is merely interesting by the time you get to LST or wherever you guys are doing these road trips, because now all these other guys are doing these road trips. So when you do these road trips, shit's going to happen, and it's fun, right? If nothing happens, you're like, well, that was merely interesting. Cool, we made it, but all these things that we'll talk about for years to come are usually, to and fro. So Thursday, Martin Bros. We get to Martin Bros. That's a little bit after the belt tossing. And I'll tell you what, Mandy, Joe, the whole crew, perfect. Worked out perfect. A little bit later in the evening, the crew there was kind of wrapping up. They gave us the keys to the castle. They let us check everything out. She was like, hey, have fun. She had some sticker swag bags for us. Just the whole thing. Everybody at that point was feeling good, feeling loose. Thursday, hey, we're getting ready to, head into Buc-ee's, get through Austin, and get into Conroe. So, again, Martin Bros, Mandy, Joe, the crew, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for letting the whole Eastbound and Down crew invade your property, invade your shop. We had some guys that didn't even continue on. They just kind of wanted to come to that stop. We had guys meet us there that were kind of jumping in. So it was just a really fun time. I don't have a count. It doesn't even matter. Good dudes, great people. guys, girls, all having fun, part of the adventure. Martin Bros, thank you so much. Thursday, we trek on. We get to Buc-ee's, which is, the place is ridiculous. It's literally the size of a Walmart. You've probably heard me say it. The size of a Walmart, and it's a freaking, convenience store gas station. 280 pumps, no big rigs, cars, diesel, just regular trucks. And every freaking fountain drink, barbecue, pulled pork, cinnamon bears, drinks, the whole 9 yards. One spot, Buc-ee's. If you haven't been, you got to go. They need to start sponsoring this thing. So that was awesome. That night we get to, for my group, I usually have in town the hotel. We go to the different spots. I wanted to change it up. I always say this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it again. I said, let's get a VRBO. So we get a VRBO. And there's like 8 of us. Sam, Rob, Goose are there before us. They get there. They're like, dude, this place is awesome. Amazing. We get there a little bit later. We got some food, some burgers, some steaks, some breakfast. We got it all. Dude, we're on the patio, and here comes this train. And we're like, yeah, think Cousin Vinny. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to insert a clip here of Cousin Vinny, and I'm going to insert the actual train horn.
Does that freight train come through at 5 a.m. every morning?
No, sir. It's very unusual.
Okay. Yesterday you told me that freight train hardly ever comes through here at 5 a.m. in the morning.
I know. She's supposed to come through at 10 after 4.
From the house. Now, this is like 2-3 acres. It's a little Chip and Joanne out in the country. We're at least an acre to 2 acres back from the road, and there's a train. And that freaking train was so loud that all we could do was laugh about it. Like, are you kidding me? This is hilarious. 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. The first night didn't wake me up, but these guys are recording it. It woke them up. It woke me up the second night, probably at 2:30. You're like, holy shit. Are you kidding me? This is hilarious. It's the only thing you can do. So the train, hilarious. At the end of the day, another part of the story. I'll insert it somewhere in the recording. I'll get the Vinny, I'll get the actual train recording and put it in here. It's just one of those things. You can't make that shit up. You just can't. Funny. That's all you can do is laugh. 8 dudes in a house, and here goes the train. It was the discussion every morning, like at breakfast, just joking about the train or laughing about the train. Or can you believe that freaking train? That guy wants to buy this property. Whoever's behind that train, honking that horn because it's so freaking loud. Just comical shit. All in all, a great weekend, even with the train, even with the tires. The weather was phenomenal. I know we stress about the weather. I'm not going to lie. I stress about it. I mean, I've got a booth. I'm hauling everything out there. I've been there when it's poured rain. I've got the canoe out. The weather was the best it's ever been. If you like overcast, you like 72, not really humid because it was a little windy or windy enough that it wasn't too humid. Shorts and maybe a long sleeve, a little bit of a short sleeve during the day, and then, pop a little long sleeve on. If you've ever been to California, you've been to the beach, 72, not too humid, not too bad. And I don't like humidity. So not like bragging about it, just that it worked out. That's what I would say. So Weather was great. The place was freaking packed. Packed. Maybe because everything's been shut down for a year, but I believe they had probably their highest capacity on Saturday. It was packed. And Texas, obviously the governor said, hey, we don't care about masks, or we're going to lift the restriction of masks right after we left. There wasn't a lot of masks. I felt like I was in 2019, 2020. And that's fine. If you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. So to each his own. I'm not going to get on, soapbox with that. To or fro. Obviously, I didn't wear a mask for the most part, but if you're in the store or you're out and about, we wore our masks. So what else do I have here? Oh, okay. So audio. So I've got about 10 interviews coming at you here. Some rad stuff. But I had my volume a little too high on probably the first, I'm going to say 7 interviews. So the volume on the recorder, I've got a new recorder. It's set a little high. I tried to kind of go through it and play around with it a little bit, but it's, in my mind, a little bit of an audio snob. Hopefully it doesn't bother you too much, but I'm peaking a little bit, so I'm a little too loud. I try to turn it down a little bit, but that's my bad. Sorry. I'm pissed about it, but because I want the interviews to be great, and the interviews are good. It's just that the audio is just a little too loud. So I worked through it. I tried to mess with it and post a little bit, and you get what you get. Don't throw a fit. All right, coming at you. The first 7 of the 10 might be just a scotch loud. You'll hear it. You'll hear it kind of when I'm yapping, and for the most part, I think the guests do fine because they're usually not as loud as me. What else do I have? Okay, this is a funny thing as well. So there's a guy named Gallus, Gallus, and he's out of Albuquerque, and he is awesome. He's a rad guy who joined in with us. Chevyitis, Chevyitis, 1968. So I'm calling him Dallas the whole time. Now it's Gallus, as in like Gallup, New Mexico, or a horse could gallop, I guess. Starts with a G. G-Man. OG. G-Man. So I call him Dallas. My son, my nephew rode with him. I interview him here. You'll hear me say Dallas 3 or 4 times. So I'm looking up Chevyitis 1968, and right there it says Gallus. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like an idiot. So Gallus, thank you for everything, for carding my son, my nephew, and I guess for letting me call you Dallas. I don't know from now on if I should call him Dallas just to be a smartass or call him OG Gallus, because his name is Gallus. I literally asked my son, I go, hey, was Gallus's name Gallus or Dallas? And he goes, I think it started with a G, Dad. So I call my nephew, and he goes, oh no, it definitely started with a G. And I'm like, did you guys not hear me call him Dallas? And he heard me call him Dallas, and he didn't want. I'm assuming it must happen all the time. Maybe his nickname has become Dallas because so many people call him Dallas. I don't know. It was funny. So highlights of the trip: Rainbow Fountain 2 with Pablo and Martin Bros. We made 2 banners and then took some group pictures there. So we will post those as well. Swanky from Provost, the media guy that Sean and the crew bring. Swanky Life. Edgar, he got some great pictures. So thank you, Swanky, for all that you do. And thanks for videoing and following along and just having a really good time with all of us. Provost brings a damn party with him. I mean, they got like seriously 15 guys. So it's a hella bad when those guys are involved. It's fun for sure. And then you've got Oro and Dropped Lowered, and then just the party just keeps kind of going. So good time. Just talking about it, I want to do it again next year, but check with me then. I'll find out. It's a lot of work herding cats. I'll leave it to you from that perspective. I feel responsible for 25 people, and I need to just say, screw it, whatever, figure it out. But all in all, we had some good times. Great weather. Episode 207. Hey, right before I left, I dropped Jason Cassidy's Customs, 207, unedited, practically filtered, F-bombs coming out all different sides. You guys are loving it. I've gotten more comments on that pod and him doing what he does on the outro. He's literally puts us through a concert, 10 songs, good times. So check out episode 207. Awesome. And I'm going to make sure that I do a quarterly get together with Jason because we had a blast. Gear. So we didn't drop some of the gear on the website before we left, and now it's up. So if you want the new Damn Son shirt, that's pretty popular. That did well over there. That's the one with kind of the mic and the kind of the retro, I guess, I don't know, what would you consider that? Kind of the, I don't know, greaser 50s style girl. She's on there, pinup, I guess, old school. And Damn Son, that's a new shirt. You've got the OBS Eruption shirt. And I think we redid a couple other shirts. The MTV shirt, which is the C10 Talk MTV shirt, which we did have at Dino's. But so the two shirts that we got new that we did not have available before we left, they are now up on the site, c10nation.com, c10nation.com, the stickers and everything else. Speaking of stickers, Dropped Lowered made a really cool, he does this where he does like a travel. So if he goes to the Get Down, if he goes to Eastbound and Down, Texas, he made some really cool Texas ones. I think he gave me like a stack of at least 50. I will give each order those stickers. So the next 50 orders, I'll throw them in there. Whatever I've got. I'll probably keep 2 for myself. I did put them on that table, so I did do a post. That was pretty popular. Guys were wanting to come around and check out the table. You know, you look back, first Yellowstone, the first year we took Yellowstone out 5 years ago, I said, hey, plaster the side of Yellowstone with your sticker. Then we did Yellowstone Light. Well, now I'm not going to have, Orange Slice all stickered up. So I'm like, well, what do we do? And I like to let guys do their stickers, but you kind of have to do your own sticker. Me doing the sticker for you, it's not the same. So I've got like a big bar stool thing that we have for the booth now, and we stuckered it up. So if you got a sticker and you see me at a show, then you can take some of the real estate of the bar stool bar table and sticker it up. So I think I'm going to keep a few of those stickers. I already did. I know I put 1 or 2 of them on there, but I want to keep a few others. So I'm going to keep 2 or 3, and the rest, they'll go out in those orders. So if you order that up, I'll throw the one in there. I think I'm out of the Eastbound and Down stickers. Sometimes I'll have some extra ones of those, but we blew through those. We only make a limited amount. I think we made 100, and those went to everybody who, jumped in and went with us on Eastbound and Down. So that's it. All right. This is probably the longest intro I've done in a long time. I should have probably just done a little update right when we got back last week, but I didn't. So I thought about it, and now you're getting it in the actual episode 208 coming at you. Coverage from LST, C10 Talk, C10 Nation. Thanks for tuning in. You guys know what to do. Stay out of trouble. Do what you do. Leave us a review. Like it, share it, love it. Tell your mama, your sister, your cousin, your brother. I don't care. All right? Keep it going. Keep the train moving. How do you like that one? All right, guys. Have a great week. Late. Hey, guys. I have Jim Flanders, Brothers Trucks on. Jim, what's the latest?
It's the same old thing over here. We're grinding away, selling truck parts, and really focusing on our YouTube channel.
The cool thing is, myself included, I'll check that channel out. It's a great customer service, a benefit to us. When we buy something, we can get in depth and know a little bit more and know the ins and outs, especially to watch it even before you go to install the product.
Yeah, absolutely. And we built a tech center in the back of the warehouse. So we literally bring in new products, we'll build them onto a truck or put them onto a truck, and we can see instantly how much work it's going to be, how easy it is. And we put that out to our YouTube channel so people, like you said, they'll be able to look at it and go, you know what, I can do that job in a day, or I can do that job in an hour. And it basically just completes a whole package of not just selling the product to a customer, but really backing them up when it comes to showing them how to do it and just making sure that they've got everything they need to get the truck back on the road or keep it on the road.
Like I said, I've watched it myself. I love it. Now, I heard you're rearranging some stuff over there. What's going on in the warehouse?
Yeah, we actually, this last year, we've been building a ton of inventory. And for a long time, we've always said, if you don't have it on the shelf, it's hard to sell it. People want to have it on the shelf. They want to know they can call and get it out the door that day. So, we're just trying to be more efficient. We're trying to have more inventory on hand. And, we've done a really good job at building inventory over the last 25 years. So I think that's what's putting us in the lead in this truck market for sure.
I totally agree. Brothers Trucks, you guys, for all your Chevy and GMC truck parts. And don't forget, they're putting new stuff on their YouTube channel all the time, so check it out. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
With a company history dating back to 1949, Airlift Performance brings a dedication and expertise to those looking for a life on air. Their 3H system combines pressure-based control with ride height sensing technology, harnessing both systems, including an intuitive handheld controller providing at-a-glance status of pressure and height conditions. Every 3H system comes standard with Bluetooth technology built right in, and a free companion mobile app allowing wireless control for most smartphones and mobile devices. Designed for a life on air. AirliftPerformance.com. Hey guys, I've got Kathy White, Classic Performance Products, CPP on the line. Kathy, how's it going?
Hey Ronnie, what's up?
What's up? What's new?
We've got a ton of things for the C10 community. First things first, our 2.5-inch Extreme X10 drop spindle. So we've upgraded the current modular spindle to modern technology. This new X10 spindle is a one-piece forged, but it utilizes strong, modern, bolt-in, internally sealed bearing hub assembly. So it's low maintenance. It doesn't move the wheels out, and you can use big brakes from us or any aftermarket big brakes out there in the market.
That's awesome. What else is new?
So we have actually gone back and redesigned our aluminum fuel tanks. As you know, our fuel tanks are the thickest, strongest, and largest capacity in the industry. But now you can actually use the same tank for either a carbureted or a fuel injection application. 63 to 72, it's 20 gallons, and for 73 and newer, 22-gallon capacity.
How about that Coilover Kit? You guys must be killing it with that thing.
That is such a great kit. It's fully bolt-on. It's easy to install. Strongest tubular arms in the market, available with either upper and lower or just the lowers or just a coilover kit by themselves. All the mounting brackets that you need, and it also comes with dual adjustable coilover shocks. So it's really responsive. It's up to you however you want to tune the compression or the rebound. It's perfect if you're just cruising on the streets, and it's proven on the track.
Well, that's what we like. So if you need spindles, the new X10, fuel tanks, coilovers, they've got it. Classic Performance Products, CPP. And don't forget, use code C10TALK, C10TALK at checkout and save 10%. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Ronnie.
LST 2021, time to get things started. It's only Friday afternoon. Hey, give me a break. I'm doing what I do. How about I got Scott from Slick's Fab Shop, and you're out of Houston area. You've got a few trucks here. I just kind of was checking out one. It was kind of a medium olive, looking like a 6970, but it was a 67. And then all of a sudden I see, Red Velvet Cake, Scarlet Fever. I don't know what the name on this thing is, but we've got a beautiful slope nose square running 24s. It's got some Slick's Fab, a couple stickers on it, and dude, it's a beautiful truck. You cut your teeth with this, Scott.
Yes, sir.
How'd this thing start? Tell us the story.
Well, it all started out by, I wanted to get into the crazy custom stuff more so than, what I was doing. And Ricky had this truck, and I just bought a bead roller, and I was like, let's roll with it. And, screwed up a bunch of panels, messed up a bunch of sheet metal, and then end result is what we have here. So pretty stoked.
Does he have a name for this thing?
I think he calls it B, little B, for whatever reason. Because maybe it was, a bitch to build. It took a long time. Save up money and then go for it, and then save up money and go for it. So I think it's called B, but his name's Ricky Ramon.
So going back to that, when you're like, dude, let's do it. Like, let's roll with it. Yeah. And now you look at it, and people, they're getting stopped in their tracks. They're looking at it. It's red on red. Sometimes red on red can be a little bit of a gamble. Everything you guys have done, I've got to think that it's been very well received. And for you in the shop, it was kind of one of those things where not only is it well received, but you cut your teeth, and it had to just completely build your confidence.
Yeah, it did for sure. I mean, this was the first truck that we've done, 24s front and rear, full custom bed, interior. I cut out the whole entire firewall, and I didn't know what I was doing when I did the firewall, but I just went for it. And
we won't tell Ricky.
Let's not tell him.
Yeah,
but
we won't tell him.
I lopped out the whole entire firewall, and I was like, oh shit, I got to rebuild it. And I overbuilt the firewall with 14 gauge because I had no clue what I was doing. And so building the firewall, to clearance the 24 so we could actually turn it at super, low height, and then blending everything into that. And then, when it came to my shop, it was never intended to be a show truck. It was intended to be a clean driver. And then as it progressed and went on, I was like, man, let's pull it off the frame and powder coat the frame. So the whole frame's powder coated. Every nut and bolt on this truck is all brand new. The LS2 power plant, it's a little rocket ship that is now his dream truck, and it was never intended. So it's pretty special to me for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like you say, your first one, Porterbuilt front drop member, Michigan Metalworks control arms, and then what are you running in the back again?
Chassis Fab actually built a 2-link setup for it, so simple 2-link with bags.
And you got a ton of metalwork in this thing, working hard. It lays frame. It's beautiful. Who painted it?
We did it at my shop. Yeah, we hours and hours of bodywork trying to get all the panel fitment, brought the bed closer to the cab, squared off the back of the cab, filled the seam on the cab, obviously shaved drip rails, and we were going to run molding on the truck, but decided not to the last minute. I think it's clean like that. So yeah, all done in-house, every bit of it.
What a difference when you come over here and you look. So he's got 2 slope nose squares side by side, and like you said, he's done a lot of cab work and a lot of bed work, and we're literally looking through. Explain that. It's the little things that make the big difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the little small details, and everyone notices like gap of fender and door. And none of these trucks were obviously built like that. They were all built, with they're roughly 3/8 of an inch tolerance to quarter to 3/8. It's bad on these trucks. And then the bed gap is an inch and a half almost. And so when I set everything up, I set it up with 3/4 inch bar and then squared the back of the cab off to give it roughly a 1/2 inch gap. The small little details that really, and it's sad that a lot of people don't even realize the small things, like they walk by it, and I don't think anyone today has noticed that, this bed gap to cab and the cab being squared off, a more square profile, not one person's noticed it.
But don't you think that that's almost like a good thing, because you almost don't want them to notice it, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things where when I talk to builders is you want them to think it's clean, it's fresh, but they'll be like, hold on, something's going on here. There's no stake pocket. There's no, why is this bed so much closer than that bed? And look at the fender wells versus the fender wells, right? So you almost have to have an existing stock vehicle to see so many little different things. And you're right, the body gap will set a truck apart. And you guys did that. You've got the red, you've got the wheels, you've got the stance. The interior alone, you guys did everything right with the dash, the seats. What can you tell us about the interior?
So Mario from Sublime Heights here in Houston we originally had the idea to go with a charcoal gray and a Jetta black and gray plaid. That was the insert that was going to be in the seat. And that was more of my idea. And then as it started going and the truck progressed into what it is, Ricky, the owner, was like, hey, I think I'm going to do all red leather, roof panel, everything custom. And I was like, I don't know if it'll go. Red on red is just, it's violent in some, but I think they knocked it out of the park. I mean, now that it's done and complete, I'm happy with it. And I think that yeah, it's bitching for sure.
It's funny as you say that, and I think about like a grayish interior with a plaid Volkswagen, black, red, gray stripe. I feel like that is you can't lose.
Right.
But it's not going to be like, oh shit, look at this red on red. So now when I come up here, I see the red on red, I see the stitching, I see the way that they laid it down, and it gives it that really clean 1991 sport look. I got the balls to go red on red. I got 24 12s, and we can do it. So 6.2 in front, a lot of cab work, no seams, sport mirrors, bumpers are tucked, really nice. He's running now. What air management are you running?
3P, the 3/8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Airlift Performance, the 3P. Okay. So and then you went with that gray chassis where you were thinking about gray inside, but now the chassis has been completely painted.
So that's the whole reason why the chassis is gray is it was gonna obviously be color matched the interior, and now that it's red, actually the gray works bitching with it though. It ties everything together and looks clean. So I'm stoked we did it gray. Should we have done it red? Maybe, but red on red on red on red, I don't know. That might be too much.
Hey, we'll never know. It looks good. Even the steering wheel looks good. It's wrapped in red leather. Everything, it really does come together. Bitchin' truck. I'm going to bump over here to Ricky. Ricky, you got a name for this thing, bro?
Man, not yet. We've been going back and forth on a couple things, and, just happy it's done. So we'll figure that up here in the next couple of days.
So one thing, as I'm talking to Scott, we've got another square right next to you. And it's pretty crazy when you look at the cab seams, you look at the bed to cab gapping, and then you look at, Scarlett's letter over here, and she's all redded out. She looks good. She got attitude like nobody's business. She looks, what do you think about that when you see that now as the owner?
It's been a long time coming, and I'm pumped. It's just, today's the day we finally get to enjoy it and see it all come together. So Scott and Slicks Fab, they kicked ass and did a lot of work to it, and I'm just stoked about it.
So I don't think I got that. Is this essentially the debut? Are we debuting this at LST 2021?
Yeah, this is his first full debut. We brought it out last year, but we had no interior and some other stuff. But we're about 99.6% done. So I consider it's a debut for sure.
I think 99.6 is probably more than most of us ever get, because the problem with truck guys is once we get to about 84.6, we're already working our way on to the next one, right? Yeah. And now you had the big balls in Cowtown to go red on red on red, and Scott was thinking maybe, some plaids, some grays, some different stuff, and you said, no, I think I'm going to roll red. What are your thoughts? And take us back to that where you're like, dude, I just want red on red, and then it obviously worked out.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, the colors of the exterior and interior, those are just tough decisions to make. And last minute, I just made a last minute executive decision to keep it red. I just want to do something different. There's a lot of red trucks who have the badass tan interiors and gray interiors. I just wanted to do something different to stand out a little bit, and I think I made the right decision. So it's dope.
The word I think is definitely not the right word. You did make the right decision. You did. I hope you're getting the well-receivedness that you should for that, and it's got to make you feel good about it. So we'll make sure we know that you made the right decision. The bottom line is the truck looks bitchin'. We're glad you brought it out. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us about your truck. It's again, she's bad.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for the recognition, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. Scott, we're working our way back over to you. You got to be happy. Anytime the customer's happy, you're out here. I hope tomorrow will definitely be busier. I hope you get a lot of love on this thing, man.
Man, I appreciate it, and thank you very much.
So, again, on the Instagram, is it just Slicks Fab Shop? Any underscores?
No, just Slicks Fab Shop.
Okay, so Slicks Fab Shop. You guys check him out. He's out of Houston, building rad shit. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Late. Starting it off right on Saturday. I'm going to give you guys a teaser on this because I just talked to Dustin, the great Dustino. That's G R8 Dustino on social. We've got a 1976 crew cab with a 14 running gear. So a Duramax, LML Duramax. This thing is, again, it is the absolute best of both worlds, Dustin. You've killed it. The truck named Sue. Well, let's give them a little bit of a teaser here. And I think we're going to have you on for a full episode because there's going to be so much to talk about with this truck. What's the journey? What was your thoughts on putting together a crew cab with a Duramax and Allison 6-speed? And, what the hell were you thinking?
Right. So, I mean, you look at what they're doing with all the late model trucks, right? And it's like these trucks would be awesome if they're wrapped in a 76 shell. So we took everything from the 14, that's awesome, and took everything from the 76, that's awesome, and just put them together, right? So everything underneath is brand new, and everything on top is old, and it's awesome, and it works together beautifully. So it is really cool.
I think you're right on. It's really cool. You're taking the best of both worlds. One thing, and I've said this on the pod for years now, is what's cool, like even thinking about 12 valves, 24 valves, obviously an LBZ, LML, you got what is just a proven motor, and then we love this style and we love the old school metal, so why not do what you did? And you did it. And really, even like companies like the Roadster Shop, you're starting to see that happen more. You've got the truck done. How long was the process total?
So the process about 4 years, and we saw that. We saw, maybe an opening, we got to start doing something a little different. So why not build it a little lifted and, make a truck that's extremely useful, So at all times, we never shied away from making it really nice, but it has to be 100% functional, everything. So, that's where all the late model running gear and everything falls into it. If any part breaks, you just go buy it at the store. And it's just technology, you embrace the technology and you use it to your advantage, and you end up with a truck that's, runs and drives nice. If you need a part, it's right down the street, and everything falls together. And I think that's kind of where things are going now, like you said, with Roadster Shop chassis available now. And I think we're going to see a lot more manufacturers starting to build, for the lifted market in an old, shell of a body, whether it be GM or Ford or Dodge. So it's on the way.
Was there any specific reason to go like a 14 and a 76? Any numerical, for you significance? Or, hey, I was able to get a wrecked 14 and I was able to get a 76?
So this truck is, concerning the 14 aspect, 11 to 14 GMs are really good as far as the subsystems that are other than the motor and transmission, right? So this truck has StabiliTrak, it has ABS, it has integrated trailer brakes. Obviously, it has remote start, it has a full BCM inside of it. So we wanted an 11 to 14 GM because it had the technology that we were looking for, but it was also manipulatable where we could tune modules and things, and we could make everything work exactly as we wanted them to work. So if we went newer, say 15 and up, we wouldn't be able to change these modules to make them work as we needed them to work. So we needed 11 to 14. Even that, whenever I bought a total truck, I bought a rollover 14, it had to be a long bed. I wanted to make sure I had enough wire and harness to cut down. It needed to be a single wheel. I wanted a certain ABS. So there was a lot of parameters that we looked for. We were looking for a very specific truck, ended up finding a rollover truck. So that was the 14 aspect. The 76 aspect, I just wanted a 73 to 76. I love the interiors. I love the small door panels. Not even many people don't know that the doors are different, 73 to 76 compared to 77 and on. And, that was it. Of course, I wanted a round eye, but within that, I really wanted a 73 to 76. So we ended up with a 76, and just the body, we kept it, especially the interior, even with all the technology. We tried to hide the technology or make it look like it was old. But it's all there, and we want it to look like it was a 76. When you look at the body, when you look at the interior, when you look at the truck from 30 feet away, it just looks like a lifted 76. There's not much going on, but the more you look at it, the more you'll find.
So you just broke this thing in. I think you said you had 1,500 miles. What's the reaction been so far here at the show?
It's been really nice. People have been a joy to talk to. Everybody really likes it. They really like the color. All the colors are original. not just original GM colors, they're original to this VIN. So the truck is not color changed, it's a full repaint, but everything's original, you know, and that's what really I think the most compliments are about the color. And from the beginning, as soon as I got the truck I started with, the 76 truck I started with, we knew we were not going to change the color.
Is it the moss gold?
It is. I think they call it moss gold. It's BSF paint. They call it medium gold metallic or something, but I think the GM name is moss gold.
Yeah, you have a Yuba gold and a moss gold. This looks a little bit more mossy. Not a real popular, let me rephrase that, not high production. So moss gold, from what I know, you don't see that many of them. So it's pretty cool. It definitely stands out. I'm going to let Dustin go because he's got a group around the truck. And honestly, like I alluded to earlier on this, quick interview, I think we're going to have him back for a full episode. Why not when we have so much to talk to about the build? So, Dustin, we're going to let you go. Thanks for taking time for C10 Talk and the C10 Nation. Love the build. A truck named Sue. You can figure that out. Look forward to talking to you in the future. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, sir.
Well, orange is my kryptonite. So, we've got a 74 square body, and we've got Luis Carrera. Your Instagram, Luis?
LuisCorrea 31.
31. Luis Carrera 31. He's got a beautiful 74 here. Luis, I tell you what, you can't go wrong with a white top, and you can't go wrong with a little orange underneath it. How'd you end up with this truck?
I bought it almost a year ago from a gentleman out of Oklahoma, and have just done some minor changes to it, but just really kind of cleaned it up for the way I would like it. So
I think that's the fun part, right? You get a truck, maybe somebody did some things that, maybe not just quite your style, but the bones are there, right? So the girl's got good bones. You got a hold of her. Any big surprises that, you uncovered?
Not really. I mean, it was pretty solid truck. It's what I thought it was, and we just kind of made it ours, I made it the way I would like it to look, and it's been really a lot of fun.
So it had a 6.0, and then you guys changed it up with the 4L80?
Yeah, we did the 4L80. We did different air intake. We did slosh tub inner fenders. We did new All-American billet hood hinges. We've done Detroit steel ambassador wheels, 2014s on the rear, 28.5s in the front, snowed-in custom seat, double diamond black, suede headliner, new carpet, Dakota digital gauges, vintage air.
All the good stuff.
Yes.
So when you go to a 14 in the rear, you obviously going to have to do some more work. What was your thoughts on just going with 11, 12, and you're like, no, I really want that look?
Everybody can have that 11, 12, so I wanted something that everybody didn't have, which, we narrowed that 9-inch a little bit and put the new inner fender tubs in the back and made it sit real fat.
So did you ended up putting a 9-inch in it, or did it have a 9-inch?
But one.
Okay, so you took the 12 bolt out, you put a 9-inch, you narrowed it, and really, the thing about this truck is it is a little bit of a sleeper. I do think sometimes though, when if I'm pulling up on a guy and you've got that, then you better be able to back that up, right? So if you've got a big wide in the back and you've got a 14 and you got a V6, you're fooling somebody. But you've obviously got the 6.0 here, so for a guy who's going to go wider, you got to go wider on the inside. So you widen the tubs a little bit, and it looks like you guys almost cut the tub and then took the OG and pushed it in, and then put a different borrowed some donors from another truck.
That's right. That's what we did, and we moved the fuel tank to the back also, and we did Ride Tech coilovers under it, front and rear.
That's what I've got on Orange Slice, and I tell you what, I love it. What's your opinion? I sometimes feel like I'm a little biased.
I love it. I've done a couple different brands on some different vehicles and can't complain at all about Ride Tech. It rides great. No complaints.
Now, I don't have a 6.0 and I don't have 14s. So when you're really hitting it, you've got it adjusted with the Ride Tech, or really any coilover for that fact. How's it responding?
It responds good. I mean, it's almost 500 horsepower on the tire. It's 475, 510 foot-pounds of torque, so it breaks them loose still, but it really can handle it a lot better than if I had an 11, 12-inch wide wheel.
When you switched out the rear end for the 9-inch, what gears did you end up running, and are you running a posi?
It's a Positrack with 373s.
Were you thinking to stay there for better mileage, for cruising? that's kind of all that thing, right? Do I go a little higher, or do I go a little lower? Is 373s just right for this thing?
I think 373s are just right, and especially having the 4L80 transmission, we have that overdrive gear, and that drops it down. You can go 80 miles an hour and turn 2,000 RPMs. You can't beat that on the highway.
Yeah, so you're running right around there, 1,800 to 2,000, and that's I kind of forgot about that extra gear because I've got the Turbo 400 with what I think is probably 354s in Orange Slice, and in Yellowstone I had 373s, and you notice that little difference. But having that fourth gear all day long, when I go from driving what has 6 speeds in my Duramax, and then I get in what has 3 speeds, I'm always literally waiting. It takes me a little while to wait and say, where's that next gear? Oh shit, I only have 3.
Yes, being here from Texas, we have some hot summers, and you don't want it turning those big RPMs driving around because of the overheating issues, and this kind of does away with that. I think having that overdrive gear, it drops RPMs down, doesn't have to work as hard.
I think your recipe's right on. I mean, really, you've got the 6.0, the 4L80, you've got the wheels, the brakes, really everything. What's left to do on this truck?
I really don't know. I've thought about maybe doing a Whipple or a Pro Charger on it if I change anything. Maybe a turbo. I just don't really know. That might be about it because everything else has been done. It's set up pretty well.
Well, I hate to answer the question for you, but I think the next thing to do is just drive the shit out of it.
I agree. We will drive the shit out of it for sure.
All right, Lewis, we appreciate your time. You guys can check them out. I'll do a quick walk around. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
All right, I got to say this before I forget how to say it, but we got Ronnie Poche, like Bobby Boucher, but Ronnie Poche, and he's out of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Is that how we say it?
That's how you say it. Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Natchitoches. Is there an N or a Y?
It's an N.
An N. Okay, there's an N. All right, so it's in Natchitoches. I was thinking Yakadish, and we're going to yik yak right now. So we've got Ronnie, and I tell you what, for some reason, Ronnie, I've seen this truck around the parts before. So we've got Chili Pepper back, and our buddy Sam Castronova built this truck. I had a lot of fun with this truck. I actually got a real cool burnout picture I'm going to get you. My son took it, Sam doing a burnout in this thing out in like a gravel pit. We were running out to California together. I think it went over to Boris, Street Machinery. Ronnie got a hold of it there. How's Chili Pepper been?
Oh, man, she's been very, very good to us, man. We just ride this thing everywhere. My buddies take it. I just let them guys drive it all the time. So we just really enjoy this truck. It's a real nice running, driving truck.
Only thing it looks like you did is put some billet specialties, or Boris, because obviously he loves them billet specialties.
Oh yeah, Boris loves those, and listen, he got those for us. I put them on there before I got it from him, and told him at that time I wanted the old set of wheels at the same time, so I said throw them in the back. So he sent them to me.
The thing about this truck, even for the audience, I think I've referred to it over the years, but I always liked this stance. I really even told Sam, hey, this stance is kind of motivated me for Orange Slice, but it has such a radical late 70s all the way through the 80s vibe.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's got a real great stance on the truck. It drives out good. We think about air riding it, but we leave it alone because it's just such a good, great driving truck. We just hate to mess with it.
You know what they say, Ronnie? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. That's the only reason why we don't touch it.
I don't know. I don't think truck guys know about that rule, though, because we like to break shit and then fix it, right? So
you're right.
Is there really anything that you want to change in the future, or just keep running it?
Nah, just keep running it. I'll tell you what, I have a lot of buddies, they look at this truck, they like to drive it. I don't mind them driving it, and they just love it. I mean, it's just been a great truck for us.
Yeah, if I remember right, it's got a great little chassis underneath there. Sam had it all done. Obviously, the buckets are a no-brainer. You win with the buckets. The color, you've got the green and the two-tone. It's just a real winner all the way around. The patina pops. I'm sure you get people coming up to it and talking about it. We got a little group around it right now.
We do, yeah. It's being a 73, it's no drip rails on it, it's all like the tailgate. It's got GMC stamped in the tailgate, you don't see that often. It's on the 73s, But yeah, Sam done a great job, it's a frame off. People look at it and don't think it's a frame off, but it is. He done a great job with it. And man, it's just a great truck. We just hate to mess with it.
I'll tell you what, good style. Ronnie Poche, you can check him out. He's not on IG that much, but it's common spelling, Ronnie. It looks like I've told you my name, Ronnie Poche.
Poche.
Poche, Ronnie Poche out of Nacogdoches, Louisiana. Ronnie, thanks for your time, brother.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, brother.
Enjoy the truck. Hey, guys, I've got Bobby from PSI Conversion on the phone looking at LS LT-based motor swaps. Bobby, why should we choose PSI Conversion?
Ronnie, our harnesses are made right here at home in the U.S. Our product lineup includes the early 90s Gen 2 LT motors, Gen 3, Gen 4 LS Vortec motors, and Gen 5 LT and LT4 packages. We have transmissions ranging from automatic 4, 6, 8 speeds, and soon to be released our new 10-speed, in addition to all the manual options out there.
Wow, you guys cover everything. How do you deal with intimidation factor when a customer is doing their first LS or LT swap?
Great question, Ronnie. But the thing is, there's nothing that we haven't seen here in the LS and LT world. If you grab almost any motor out of a junkyard, you want to Frankenstein to build together or even supercharge it. Leave it to our sales team to help guide you along the way to the products that you need for your restoration. We have over 10 years of experience in the market, a tech department that is available to help troubleshoot and diagnose any issues or questions that you have along the way while installing your PSI products. Couple that with a staff that is going to be standing by our product with pride, made right here in the U.S. to a GM quality standard. Our team is happy to get you wired up and fired up.
And don't forget, guys, use code C10TALK and you'll save 5% off your order. PSIconversion.com. PSIconversion.com. You want to save 5%? Use code C10TALK at checkout. Thanks, Bobby.
Pro Performance has been your favorite parts supplier for almost 10 years, but we're not slowing down. We've stepped up our stocking orders to make sure we have more of what you want when you want it, ready to ship or pick up at the shop. Check with us first for top brands like React Suspension, Snowden Custom Seats, Vintage Air, and Willwood. Pro Performance is also your #1 source for Dakota Digital, so whether you need a full kit or a few accessories, or just want to see the new RTX series, hit us up. Check out the website at azproperformance.com to see our full line and which shows we'll be at in 2021.
Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. It all started in the original owner's garage. From humble beginnings of a couple parts in a garage to a 2-building manufacturing facility making over 6,000 parts, Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They not only design the products, but also design the tooling to build the products, guaranteeing quality control. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. Aluminum strips are double polished, creating a mirror finish, and crystal clear anodized. They use the highest quality, hand-selected show quality wood that will hold up over time. Why? Because it's kiln dried to precision moisture levels specifically for Marquet. They stock oak, pine, and mini exotics, guaranteeing extremely fast delivery. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bed wood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com. Sometimes I come to these shows and I don't know that the story can get any better on this. I love this story. To think that the camper, the mirrors, and the bumper were all factory, put on at the dealer. Barry Higgins out of Waltonville, Illinois. That's another thing about LST that's cool is I get to see people from Illinois. You just don't get, all that much Illinois-ness for us. So you've got a 63 GMC. And Barry, tell us about this truck, brother. It's a beautiful truck.
Well, basically, I bought the truck. It was 100% stock. We busted it all the way down, GSI stuff, front and rear. Underneath, restored the underneath side. Didn't touch anything on the top side. LS deal, Don Hartley. Valve cover conversion deal. Basically, that's where we started with the truck, and then it escalated in. There's a good backstory, so where we go with that, one day I thought I'll look this guy up and see who he is.
So let me jump to that real quick. So when he talks about the backstory is it says the guy's name on the side of the truck. Yeah. Now, your buddy Ronnie bought this truck, and it was an estate sale deal up in Illinois. So on the side of the truck, it says the guy's name, George Drolsome, Sandwich, Illinois. So how far is Sandwich, Illinois from where you live?
4 hours.
Okay. So now tell us a little bit. You decided to look up who George is.
Yeah. So one day, me and the guy that works for me, he's like, "Man, you got to just look and see who this guy is." So I'm like, all right. So we look him up, and he's the first American to work for Porsche, and he went on to be successful and own his own or manage his own race team for Porsche. Knew several languages. The basic gist of the guy is we didn't know none of this until it was already here and we was already cutting on it, which made it better because, and so the basic gist of the guy is he was very successful, kept to himself, started some concourse races in Jacksonville, Florida, and everywhere, and he basically was a road race guy, you know what I mean? So cool backstory,
Well, and a cool backstory because this guy had this truck.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he had this truck. He's a Porsche guy, he's an engineer guy, he's a racer, and he had this beautiful truck, and to think that you got this.
Oh, yeah. So what I was told is the truck's got 59,000 on it. Well, he pulled his personal toy race car to the track with this, so that's all it got used for.
And he probably slept in the camper, and he's got the bumper, he's got the tow mirrors, he's got it all. Old George.
Yeah. So there's tire marks on the top where you could see him where he shoved tires in on the top of the inside of the shell. So
gotta have them extra race tires. So you named it Lonesome. What motor was in it originally?
The 305 V6, and then it was a automatic truck. So I just wanted to use the motor, but I got into it and it was too barbaric for what I wanted to do. So because I wanted to drive it,
Well, and you kept the V6, logo on there, and
kept the original air cleaner. That's the original air cleaner and the original valve covers. Kind of kept the original heater box because I wanted that original kind of look in there,
Oh, you killed it. The GMC front grille on these 63s are always beautiful, gorgeous. You've got Don Hardy put you some plaidness on those valve covers. You've got the intake, and this is the 6.0, correct?
Yeah.
What kind of horsepower are you running?
I think it may make 450, 500, somewhere in that range,
Did you struggle with the identity of it and which way to go, or had you already kind of?
A little bit when we first got rocking, because when I tore it down, I wanted to do V6. Well, I tore the motor apart, and I was like, this is not what my budget wasn't in for. I wanted to do a V6 twin turbo deal, and then I got in it. The motor I didn't think I could do that with the motor, so I turned and went this way with it. That's why I did that.
Now, the other thing, too, that really is kind of surprising on this, again, remind the audience, 63.
Yeah.
It's got original paint. I mean, it looks, we can kind of, as walking around, we kind of see a few spots where they might have been touched up, but she's an original girl, and he probably took real good care of her.
Yeah, I assumed every year he touched it in, and, somebody may have flubbed here and there on it. But it's wearing most of its original paint,
So you got a GSI front and rear. What air management?
Bors is just paddle deal. Okay. Simple, Via-Air compressor, double Via-Air. And we went with Bors because we wanted it simple, Now,
how about this interior? I see that you kept some of the plaid, or you added the plaid. You added it looks like a Snowden seat.
Snowden seat, and then we rounded it up. And the plaid is Porsche plaid, so we wanted to keep the Porsche theme. And Leadfoot did the seat for me, which is a local guy. But it's the stock seat with just Snowden foam. So
A lot of times,
radio works, everything works.
Why go with a 6 or is it a 5 or 5 speed versus the auto?
I just wanted to. I wanted that feel. You know what I mean?
So you went with the fawn, or you kept your fawn interior?
It's all the original fawn.
Well, and the blue goes so good with the fawn.
It had a blue custom seat in it, factory. Well, you know how it is. What I did, we scanned the original blue up here, and I dyed the leather metallic blue like this.
So when he says up here on the bed on these 63, 64, 56, you'll see them. You've got, usually it's a white, to contrast, but because the truck was white and he's got the custom trim for the 63, which on the 456s is a little bit more blingy, but with the custom on a 63, you're getting the split trim, and then on the back of the bed, the high side, which is about 8 inches, it's a blue, and he matched that blue. It's got the guy's name on it, which was cool, and it sounds like Ronnie, who you got it from, had kind of taken that off and you put it back.
Yeah, Ronnie got a little anxious and buffed it off.
We just interviewed Ronnie Berry. Damn you, Ronnie.
Well, and I want to poke at Ronnie anyway, because that's what we do, but he got a little anxious and he took the topper and that off. Well, I made him put the topper back on for it, come back to me.
Thank God he didn't sell the topper or split it, because I didn't think this was with the truck from the very beginning, and it's still here. Now, are you a knee knocker guy, or was just this one came around and you had to have it?
All right, so I'm originally a 6, 7, and 8 Chevelle guy. So I get...
Who isn't?
Well, oh yeah.
Who isn't?
So I get I work on a 59 Impala for a customer. Well, I drive it with the wraparound windshield, and I go, God damn, what have I been missing here? Well, that's when I went after, because I got a 64 Chevy truck, C10. That's when I went after the wraparound windshield and the knee knocker deal, because of the feel you get when you drive a wraparound windshield. You want to have a suit on and a cigarette, and I don't smoke. You know what I mean? That's the way I felt.
You felt classy.
Yeah. Well, it takes you back a little, so that's where I was at with it. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, now that you kind of say that, and as I'm looking for the audience, he's running some Steelies, and he's got some GMC hubcaps, which those are not cheap.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, a suit and a cigarette. I feel like George, with his name on the side, it being white with the blue, I feel like he took this truck, and even though it is a custom trim truck, it really is pretty classy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, most definitely.
What's in this box here? Some road flares or something?
Flare and extinguisher, and that stuff was in there.
So he's got a little, it looks just like a flare box right off the right side of the passenger seat. So you open the passenger door, boom, there's a little old school flare box. Obviously George was the man. Anything left to do on this thing?
All I got left to do is make the original, or he put a Stuart Warner gauge pod in it. I got to make the amp gauge work, and he put a tack in it. I'm going to try to make that work with the LS stuff, so everything works. That's about it for me.
Now, you being in Illinois, do you get to drive it a lot, or do you tuck it away? Are you pretty happy with how much you get to run this thing?
We had 4 miles on it, and Boris come to the shop, and me and Boris left for Glendale, and I had 4 miles on it. That's our shakedown run.
So you brought it out to Dino's.
Yeah. So I went from Illinois to Dino's, and that's the first time I ever drove the truck. So
she's got what, 1,500 miles on her now?
No, it's probably got more like 3,000 on it. Because I've drove it since Dino's place too, and then I dumped in Dallas. And then I drove over from Dallas with some buddies, because we had salt and weather on the road. And
oh yeah, there you go. So what would you say is the response that you get with this, the old Lonesome George truck?
Well, the best part for me is when you're driving it and you're meeting traffic, they're trying to figure out what's going on because the shell makes it look so barbaric. They're like, what is coming towards me? You know what I mean? That's the best part for me. Plus, when I'm inside it, other than the seat, I don't feel like I'm in anything modern, because we've modernized it, so I wanted to feel like I'm still in an old truck.
How's she run down the road? You able to get 75, 80 pretty good?
Oh yeah, we rolled 85 all the way here from Dallas. So
any souvenirs in the back, do you think? Anybody in that camper before Ronnie took it off? Or the reason why I ask, I picked up an old 78 and there was a 22 handgun in it.
No, I ain't got no. The only souvenir I got was the Falstaff sticker on the back was in the glove box, and I put it on the back of the car because it was on the glove box.
Now, is that a beer? I thought I saw it on there. So it's a Falstaff. When he says it, Falstaff like Flagstaff, but Falstaff beer, and it was in the glove. It actually kind of matches. You got good colors.
It's kind of 70s deal. I think they went out in the 70s.
Original wood here?
Yep.
Wow, so he's still got the original wood. I mean, and because the camper was on, the wood is in great shape.
There's the original date on the wood.
Yep, so it's got 63 stamped on the wood, and sure enough, on the top of the camper shell, you've got tire marks where old George put them in there. Barry, you also have a shop, right? So what's the shop, the Instagram?
Higgins Custom. You just look up Higgins Custom and it'll pop up.
All right, well, check it out. Barry, thank you so much for going through the Lonesome 63 with us. I love this thing. I'm going to do a quick video. I appreciate your time.
Yep, thanks.
Probably one of my favorite guys to interview, and one of the least favorite things for him to do is to be interviewed. Ben Dollar, C60, original paint. I think we've had you with Lillian, which is his like 80 square body crew cab with the Duramax. Right now, he's been moving, he's been shaking. Now, originally, first time I met these guys, C10's in the trailer park, you had your 68 50th, and what a sweet ride. So there's no shortage of sweet rides at the Dollar shop, okay? Dollar Custom Fab. You got Cody around here somewhere, your sidekick. Tell us about your thought process on this, because you took a C60 and you made something radder.
So, yeah, we did the 60, and on the Duramax, we did Lillian 1980 four-door. We did the Duramax Swap, and I mean that was a challenge in itself. Listened to the pod, talked about swap versus chassis swap and we'd been stacking up the sheet metal and the bed for years, and went out and bought a 96 extended cab 2-wheel drive chassis, and then stripped it, completely built it, and then started fitting the sheet metal and then the bed across to it. So had to try the chassis swap.
Yeah, and obviously you must have been looking for a 96. You wanted a P-pump Cummins. So you got a P-pump Cummins in here. And does it have an NV4500?
It does. It's NV4500, and it's a last year 96 P-pump motor. So the good one, I guess.
Everybody wants an NV4500. I think everybody wants a 12-valve P-pump. They might want the 24 now because a little bit of tunable. But I guess, the 12-valve Cummins is a no-brainer. But wrapping it and the service bed and lowering it, talk us through all that. I mean, you made a party barge out of it.
Right, exactly. So it's not lowered. So this is the Dodge chassis at stock ride height. We cut the cab a little bit to get it down over it. The steps make up for most of what comes down. If you look at the rocker line, it's up pretty high. But it looks like it's down. And then the bed, all we ended up keeping on the service bed was actually the boxes. I mean, the front head and the back are completely, we had to build them because it's widened. We're a half-inch inside of legal, 101 inches in Texas. So we had to go way wide to get them over the tires. And then we cut section, lowered it about 14 inches just to get it down to get it where it looks. But we have full articulation from the Dodge chassis.
One thing that you did to kind of, I guess for the audience to kind of get a perspective is it looks like you almost have a full tailgate in between the service bed. So that gives you kind of that idea of how wide you guys really are. Is it 108, 102? What's the width?
We're 101 overall. I mean, it's 100 inches wide.
So 102 is legal?
Right. Yep. I think 101, 102. I should know, but I think it's 101.
I wondered how it is. So you went stacks. You've got the cab lights. I think it all comes together. The mirrors. When you got the C60, did you already know that you were going to go with a service bed, party barge?
So the 60 was in a tow yard sitting in my little hometown of 2,000 people, and we've been watching it for years, talking to the old man about it. He finally shut down his tow yard, and we bought the sheet metal just because of what it was. And Up in the Panhandle, Texas, it's dry. We look for these. We have grain trucks everywhere. Great parts and pieces, but the sheet metal was right on this one. So then we also knew the bed was about 6 miles from my house at a water well service. I'd spotted it, went out, talked to old man, measured it. So we had a good idea. Last year at this show, we saw a 60 from Mexico, a blue one, set way down by the Billet Specialty guys. And on the drive home, that's where we put this process together. Thought it up, COVID hit, we weren't taking on anything extra, and here it is. So
the rest is history. You've got 22 Alcoas, you've painted them, but you kept your center cap. I think it obviously goes really well because you've got a white bumper, which is cool for a 67 through 72 style truck, and then you went with the white service bed. I assume it was already white anyways.
It was already painted, and the bumper was already white. So, I mean, we had to play off that with the wheels a little bit. I'll tell you, it's kind of controversial. Again, this one was a budget. This was over COVID. Some people were coming home with toilet paper. I came home with a Dodge in March. So, I mean, I don't like to say that. Not a Dodge guy, but hey, it turned out, right? But these are actually 22 and a halves with a 305 tire stretched over them. Guys running that. There we go.
Yeah, we're at the show. You're going to have that LST. That was on cue. So I do like, though, that you kept it white. Was that, I assume you went polished and you at least put them up there and then you played with it, or you said, no, let's just go white? Because you did some playing around here. I mean, to figure out that you're going to go with your chrome centers, you had to kind of work through that.
Yeah, exactly. So the white, we knew we were doing the white service bed. We were going to make the service bed fit. We had the service bed found. That's the route we want to go. Utility beds they're hot right now, and we want to do one to pack away everything that we've got going on here, the stereo, the generator, the umbrellas, everything that we got going. So we knew we were going to do the white mirrors. We wanted to play off that with the white powder coat on the wheels. So we never actually put them up there. I mean, we D8 them down, smooth them up, and we powdered them white.
Well, then, okay, what about the center caps? Did you always think you'd leave that or run something different?
So the center caps came after the stacks, which the stacks were a pretty tough choice. Honestly, we never thought we'd own a rig with stacks, but if one could pull it off, here it is. And so chrome stacks, chrome wheel covers.
Well, you dropped a little bit of, so this thing's got a full system, it's got a generator, it's got umbrellas, and you built it to be a party barge. And it exactly what it is. It's a big old party barge.
That's right. When you go to the show, you want three things. You want shade, you want cold drinks, you want good music. And so we actually have this set up to tow with. So when you're at the host hotel or like this one or other shows where, you know, we thought of Texas Motor Speedway. There's no air down there. So we got umbrellas. We got 2 8-foot umbrellas we can put out. We got music and we got cold beer. So
it obviously does tow. You could put a rig behind it. How does it tow?
Yeah, so we did. We built it and we put a trailer behind it, and one of Todd, Cody at 1972 Fleet, one of their mini Suburbans behind it, and we took off. And it does like every Dodge you see running down the road. It doesn't get in a big hurry, but it gets it done. You can actually see at the back plate back there, the receiver hitch. That is the Dodge stock receiver hitch to the back plate right there, and that's what you hook into. No modifications to the chassis.
For your gauges, did you change anything up?
Nope, did not. We actually found a diesel tack, one of few that we've actually found out in the junkyard that we're going to work into it with a stepper motor, but that's to come.
Yeah, that'd be cool. A lot of these came with a vacuum. Everybody always wanted to have that vacuum gauge, but to find a diesel tack, which for the audience is going to be a lot lower than these came with 350s, which is pretty crazy. Right. A lot of them came with 350s and then a 2-speed rear end. Did this have a 350 in it, or was it gone?
It was a 366 2-speed rear end, just you're saying, with the splitter on it. And as you noticed earlier, the vacuum brake module is still on the steering wheel. And we repurposed that into the Banks exhaust brake onto it, flipped the diaphragm where we get all vacuum or none. And so the Dodge already had the Banks brake on it. And so when you throw the vacuum brakes for the old, it had a 52 Hobbs 32-foot trailer on it. When you throw that, you get the exhaust brake.
Which is tremendous on a truck like this. How about your steering? You've got your big wheel. You kept that linked right up to your Dodge stuff?
So we had to take the grain truck long steering column out and go with the truck column to shorten it up, and then we actually used the Dodge linkage. We squared the shaft, if you're familiar with the round starred shaft, so we just one notch on one side of it and it made it up. So, and power steering, the Dodge power steering front end, obviously a whole chassis, just kept it all course, need a steering box like they all do, and ran everything else.
A little engineering along the way. Obviously, you can make these things work. Ben, Cody, Todd, they're a great team. They love these trucks. They know these trucks. Is there anything left that you want to do to this thing?
So with the umbrellas, we're going to add some Hoosier poles to it. We've got to add some lights just to see in the boxes at night. This is the first time we've had it out, so we're learning as we go.
What's a Hoosier pole? I don't even know what that is.
So a Hoosier pole is a welder. Welder have Hoosier poles that their linkage that comes out and brings all their umbrellas, their line leads, everything out to them. So we'll be able to adjust the shade all the way around it. Other than that, good shakedown. We're 500 miles from home, and of course we drive everywhere we go, and so far so good.
It reminds me of an old service truck. So you think about a Caterpillar, a factory guy who's running all across the country. Nowadays, they build these rad trucks and they run them, they live out of them. They got more parts than they can handle, and that's what she's got. She's the C60 service party barge truck. I can't imagine that he doesn't have a name for it. I asked him, he said he didn't, but I'm sure you're going to come up with something. The other thing, too, is this paint. You brought it back to life.
So, Ronnie, you name them all, so we're open for whatever. So whatever you want us to do on the name. But I can tell you this, hey, and this goes unsaid. Cody will never get on the mic, but, man, he's the skill behind all this.
Guy right here?
Yeah, I'll tell you. But Cody does the buffing. He did the buffing. I just added the shit, handed him what he needed. That's the dude that does it all, man. I obviously couldn't do it without him and Todd at 72 Fleet. Todd's obviously not here. He stopped short at the Decatur Swap meet, but those dudes right there, man, are the knowledge behind it all, and couldn't do anything without them.
What would you say, since this is your first show, we watch you on Instagram, what would you say is the reaction to everybody?
Hey, Cody and I were walking around. I mean, this is a show that you come to and you know what you're going to see a lot of. We get excited because it's been all winter and we learn a lot, but, you look around, there's $60,000, $100,000 rigs, late model rigs running around, and there's 60 of them here. And last year we saw 160. We don't see another one here. So it's fun. Everybody likes to do something a little different. It was a hell of a challenge. We did the swap, the diesel swap with the Duramax and the 80, and we wanted to do a chassis swap. So I think we did it, and we're here. Hopefully we'll make it home.
They're going to make it home, and they did do it. Always a pleasure to have Ben on. And I tell you what, we'll get the mind working on this thing, but it's a worker. It's a party barge. And they really, like he said, they brought it all together in one truck. Ben, as always, thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Chevyitis, 1968, Dallas. Dallas came out from Albuquerque, met us up on the road, eastbound and down, had this thing on the trailer. He's got a Scottsdale, 76 Scottsdale, long bed. And the funny thing is the whole time we could see the intercooler. He had the hood down, and he was up on his trailer, and we're like, all right, we know something's up with that truck. So Dallas, welcome to C10 Talk. Tell us about why a guy from Albuquerque decided to take a 76 long bed and put a 24 valve Cummins underneath it.
Well, thanks, Ronnie. Hey, great to be here. I had this truck, the motor locked up on me, and I was originally going to do the LS swap and drop, thinking hard about that, and then sort of got bit by the Cummins bug, started doing a bunch of research on that, probably listening to your podcast on the conversion, and then because I had this motor and trans already, I just decided to go for it because a little less on the budget, and so I really tried to do that as budget friendly as possible and try to reuse a lot of the stuff like off the original truck as much as I could. So that was sort of the thought process behind it. So
you said you had the motor and the trans. You must have had them for another build, or what?
I had a 2000 Dodge. My uncle had that. He passed away, left me. Midwest truck, pretty rusted, but sat for a long time, and I acquired that, and so I had obviously the power plant, the transmission, just didn't know the transmission was blowing, so I sort of had that anyway, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something with that and get it in there.
What tranny is behind it?
The 47 factory 47 RE that came with it, yeah. So
did you ever think about going with like a 5-speed, a manual?
I did. This truck had a 4-speed manual in it, and I was thinking about that before I got the motor, and when I got this, I'm like, well, beggars can't be choosers. Want to do a manual, but at this point, I'm just going to go with what I got and just run with it, and maybe down the road. But I had it and it worked. I'm like, I'm just going to go with that and run it. So yeah.
What was your biggest hurdle?
once I got the motor sitting in, I think the biggest hurdle was just piecemeal and everything else together. I think the biggest thing was trying to figure out. I originally was looking at. I had the Dodge, radiator and intercooler, and I was like trying to picture and I had the Dodge front end. The actual mount. I was trying to figure out was that going to work or not, or how to picture that. I think that was probably one of the bigger hurdles. Was just trying to piecemeal that together and get it to all work. Because obviously on the Dodge, the intercooler is right in front of the radiator and they get plenty of airflow, but that was probably the biggest hurdle. And then just trying to, everything from hoses to, trying to convert this, or power steering's got 3 outlets, the Dodge does, and the Chevy's only got 2. So just little stuff piecemeal together. And then obviously reading and figuring out, okay, I've read a lot of guys don't like the 24 valve electronics, or they're, I don't want to say scared of it, but once I read enough about it, did some research, I figured out, yeah, you can do it. Just got to figure out the wiring, and got some schematics and just got it working. So there's a lot of extra wires in Dodge harness that I don't think even Dodge uses. They're just there from the factory the way they did it. So yeah.
So you decided to put the 24 valve in here. Did you have like a reference point? Did you have a couple forums? Did you have some buddies? Or were you just flying by the seat of your pants and having fun?
Yeah, having fun. Obviously on the C10, your podcast, I listened to the one episode about the diesel conversion. I think it was diesel conversion specialist, right? So when I heard that, I actually got the motor mounts from those guys, and I got the intercooler from those guys. So that podcast was sort of a big help, even though it's more on the 12 valve side. And I was sitting there listening to that thinking, man, I wish I was on the podcast to ask more specific questions. But that was a start. After that, you start looking at the forums. Some guys in there have info on there, and then I just start referencing it. But yeah, pretty much just, I don't want to say flying by the seat of pants, but that podcast, internet, and just started fabbing parts and figure stuff out, getting it in there, getting it set. And then, I built a couple other trucks for her, so going from there. So just learned about the big honking air filter a couple months ago when I Googled it. I'm like, hey, what's that air filter? And it brings up the part number, and everybody calls the big honking air filter. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Did not know that.
It is a big honking air filter. Now, the cool thing about 24 valves, right, is there's a little bit of a tune that you can do versus a 12 valve?
You are correct. Yeah, I kept the OBD2 plug, wired that in. So obviously the biggest benefit on that, what I read was, you can check for codes. And then, yeah, you can do a little bit of tuning if you want to turn it up a little bit. I have not done that yet. I've not got that far, but my biggest thing was being able to just check for codes if I had like a transmission code or whatever, or just seeing what guys were posting online with all that. So
you had the hood down. We could see the intercooler with the hood down, the way it's pushing through the front end. I was very surprised. I would have lost a few bets that it was a Cummins, and the reason why is it doesn't sit that low in the front. So I was surprised because, for example, I think a big block weighs like, let's just say 900, and these weigh about 1100. So were you surprised, or did you have to do any front end engineering?
Yeah, the only thing I obviously want to drop it at some point. The only thing I did was, as far as I know, it had factory springs in. I think they were fine, but I just went out, and I think I got a set from Brothers or maybe LMC, one of the two, but I just went out and bought a set of half-ton heavy-duty springs, just brand new springs, set of cheap shocks to go with it, a couple of upper and lower ball joints, and said, at least I'm just going to put brand new springs in there, so at least they're fresh. And then, like you said, I thought to be a little more sag, but there's not. And even though I'm spending money for new springs, where if I lower it, I'll have to throw those out. But that's all I did, just from checking online. And again, some guys were saying, hey, you don't have a lot of squat. And then I know some guys have some squat, but that's all I really did was just set of heavy-duty springs. And I realized pretty quick that I think the springs between the 3/4 ton and the half ton in the front are the same.
3/4 ton and a half ton are not. They're a little higher. If you put that's, and the reason why is I know for Yellowstone, I put a half-ton spring. Again, it's because it's a big block, so it might be more of a big block versus if you had a small motor C20 or K20, I guess it'd be C20, then maybe. And I'm sure somebody else might know more specific. I think the big thing is really the motor, right? With the big block, you're going to have a heavier spring. So that's what I kind of think. I think they do have an HD style spring that you can put in here. Now you'll know, hey, I can lower it by putting a smaller spring in and see how it goes. What's the plan on the lowering? Like a 4.6?
Yeah, probably a static drop. I mean, I love the whole bag concept, but I I've got another truck I did like a CPP lowering kit on there, and I like some of the stuff like the Beltec stuff. So, yeah, the first time I actually put the motor in there, I was thinking, hey, is it going to, because they had some old crusty tires, I'm thinking maybe it's going to pop the tires. Maybe they're going to sit for a while, but it didn't. And then I got those springs in there, and yeah, it doesn't have swag. But yeah, I'd like to come back, do some kind of static drop on it. Not slam, but just enough drop so different tires and wheels so it looks better, yeah. But
what kind of wheels would you think?
I don't know. It's hard to vision that because I think I used AZ Pro Performance on my last set, and I'm like an old school kind of centerline guy, so I'm not big on the new stuff, but I'm probably not going to drop a set of 24s in there. I think my other truck I've got some 20s on there, but yeah, for right now, before this show, I just went and got some new rubber on there because the old stuff was pretty ratty looking, and I'm thinking, well, at least I won't have a flat when I get down to the show. But
well, it's got to make you feel good. We had some kids, some younger guys come over, and there was a whole group of them standing around asking Dallas a bunch of questions, and pretty cool. They're like, hey, this is really what we like, because I've talked about it too. You almost have the best of both worlds, where we know the 12s and the 24s and the LBZs, and we know those things run like raped apes. And then you've got the raddest, square body wrapped around it.
Right. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, reupholstered the seat. Obviously, it's been sitting in the sun for long with the dash and the door panels. But, yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, I've had several young guys sort of come up and say, hey, it's pretty cool. Younger guys obviously own diesel trucks. They're just checking it out. So, yeah.
It looks like it's an original paint truck. It's kind of got that red-orange look to it. He's running the rallies. It is a half-ton truck, so you've got a 24 valve and a Scottsdale 10 with original paint. Where'd it come from? Did it come from New Mexico?
As far as I know, yeah. I think the original color was the crimson red. Yep. So even though it's a fade orange, but looked up the color, the RPO code on that. But you're right. I got it out of Albuquerque. Typical thing off Craigslist, fine. Had a blown motor, transmission, bunch of junk in the back, so. Got a good deal on it, couldn't pass up.
Yeah, I love the crimson red. It's because it is a reddy orange, and it is funny when you look at the inside versus the outside. This truck has the perfect amount of patina. I assume you're going to keep it a long bed?
Yeah, no plans to cut it down. I love the short beds, but I've got 2 long beds at home, and I like long beds, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a sweet truck. Two-tone, can't go wrong there. It's got an HD bumper on the back. He's going to do some interior work and then probably just drive the hell out of it. Have you had much chance to put many miles on it?
I only got it running maybe about 2 weeks ago, so I think maybe I've got maybe 20 miles on it, just trying to get it at least road ready enough to get down here, get in the trailer, and drive around the show without breaking down. So yeah, but so far it's been reliable. I've had up to about just 60. It cruises really smooth. 373 in the rear end. Obviously with the 24 valve, I don't have a speedometer attack, so I've got to be a little careful with the traffic, but don't want to get too high in the RPMs. But so far, rides really smooth. Yeah, just rides like a dream some ways, but yeah, so no plans to go bigger on the motor. We're not gonna do compounds or bigger injectors at this point. I think we're just gonna keep it where it's at. We got plenty of torque for the rear end.
She's got a personality, that's for sure. Now, I'm going to take you over to an interview we just did a little bit ago here, but there's another guy with a 76. He's got a Duramax in it, but Dakota Digital will make you a new set of RTX gauges that have the right tack, right. So you're not looking like you're going to blow up your truck, right? You're 3,000-4,000 versus. So a lot of more time, more money, and hell, you're having fun, and that's what it's all about. And I tell you what, there's people around this truck the whole time. They could check you out, Chevy-itis, 1968, and check out Dallas's truck. You got a name for this thing yet?
No name. Really just on Instagram to stay with the truck guys. But I've got a 68 C10 I've had like 30 years, and I just call it the 68, and this is a 76. So, yeah.
Chevy-itis 76 and Chevy-itis 68. Either way, Dallas, thanks for coming on the pod. Love the truck, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, Ronnie. Thanks for the chance, man.
What up, what up? We're in the back half. We ran into Victor Perez, 754-918. 754-918. Victor Perez. A few little periods in there, so Victor.Perez.754-918. Beautiful 1968 C10 intros. Looks like 22s. And he's got a 5.7 liter swap. LS1, the interior, everything. Victor, tell us about your truck and welcome to C10 Talk, brother.
Hey, how's it going? It's a 68 with the just red vinyl interior. Got redone in November. All new chrome, all new glass, and 22x12s intros on the back, tubbed out, bagged out. It's got the deck kit material in the bed. It's fairly new. Got that done last week. It's got the LS1 and it's a stock engine basically, but it's fun to drive. And the colors, it was blue and brown, now it's gray and red, and everybody just everybody likes it. It's a whole new look for it, but it stands out.
So you've had the truck for a while. It was blue and brown original?
Yeah. No, not original. I did it the first time, and I painted it blue. My favorite color was blue with the Dallas Cowboy blue, and then with a brown interior. And 8 years later, it was time for a new paint job, so I decided to go with a new look. I almost went blue again. I'm glad I didn't, because man, this color right here, everybody loves it. It's not a bright color, but it catches everybody's eye. It's crazy. I don't know, something about it that and it's actually gonna be in Street Magazine. It got shot for Street Truck Magazine in January. So hopefully maybe sometime mid-year, it'll probably come out. So
what color is it? Because a lot of times we see that Battleship gray, we see the Toyota gray. This has a little bit lighter version.
Well, I was going for like a color off of the Toyotas basically, but I didn't have time. It's always about the time. I never have time to go and do things the way I should do them. But they sent me a picture through text message, and that's how I picked it. And it's a light diesel gray, I think it is, and but it's pretty close, I think, to the new Toyota color. But yeah, that's just a basic light diesel gray is called, and it's not a special mix or anything. And but got lucky, I guess, man. Like I said, I picked it off of a 2x2 little tab, and it got lucky. It came out right.
Yeah, there's people around it all the time, coming around, loving it. Obviously, the red pops. So if you had it as a blue truck for 8 years, how long did you have the truck before that?
I bought it, and then I had it parked for like a month until I was able to bring it down, and then it stayed in the shops for a year. Got it bagged, interior, painted, and I had 24-inch IROCs on there. It was all a rush too, and then I ended up spending money again to do what I wanted with the intros and the 22x12s. So I got that done, and then the paint job was just old, so 8 years old. So I got it repainted and all new glass, all new chrome and all. So it was just time to keep up with everybody else. It's time for a new look, man. It's hard to keep up with everybody, but you gotta, if you want to play, you gotta spend the money.
Yeah, it's moving fast. Did you think about selling it before you said you're gonna redo it, or is it like, no, this is my girl, I just want to freshen her up?
I don't know. I didn't really think about selling it, and now everybody wants to buy it now, and it's like, well, I would sell it if they kind of give me what I want, but I haven't put it out there to sell it. But everybody's just gets so much attention, and that I've had at least 10 people saying they want to, if I would sell it. Actually, one of the judges here wanted to buy it today, and but I'm not done. I keep telling everybody I want to finish it. I still got to do AC. I want to do some Woolwood brakes, and got to do a new sound system, little things like that. So I may go throughout this whole year at the car show scene, and maybe next year I'll put it for sale.
Okay, so you do have some things you want to finish up, and just kind of the last touches. Are you a builder, or is it a hobby? What's your role in it?
Oh no, I'm just
cutting checks.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a hobby. It's just something that I love. I love cars, but I don't have time to learn. I wish I did, to try to do it all myself like that. But it's I see a lot of people that do it for themselves, and it's something that I would love to do, but there's no time. Always working. So
well, and you got to work to pay the bills because you want to get it done. I guess when you sell it, you might end up paying some more bills. So let's go look at this deck system in the back. I see this. He's got kind of like it reminds me, and I assume it's off of the boats. You see it on the back of the boats a lot.
Yeah, and being that I live over there in Houma, Louisiana, there's a lot of fishing, and everybody has a boat in their driveway. And this it's called Deck It, and man, it's like a night and day difference when you get a $100,000 boat without this, and then they put this on there, and then it looks like an actual $100,000 boat. It just makes it look fancy, and I wanted to go with that look in here, just change it up a little bit. And there's actually a couple of trucks. There's not a whole lot of them with it, but you know, it was. I guess I was nervous at first. I wanted for it to come out right, and that was actually their first truck they did. And so far here at the show, man, this first show I do with it, and everybody loved it. So I was nervous that it wasn't gonna come out right, but it looks good, I think.
I think it looks really good. It kind of accents your interior. Yeah. Speaking of your interior, what prompted the red?
Oh, I took out all of my interior and I left it at my house when I took it to my buddy to paint it, and he had old buddy seat that he had.
Buddy buckets?
Yeah, buddy buckets, and they were red, and he sat them in there just so he could move the truck, and I saw the red. I was like, oh, I gotta go red. And so yeah, that's how that came about, man. It was the right move, I think, because I almost went with the tan again. But man, everybody loves it, and the guy at Upholstery by Poe out of Bryan College Station did it, and he's a young guy, somewhere 24, 25 years old, and he's got it down. He does go to work.
Well, I assume your family's having a good time. I see you here with your family. People are around this thing the whole time I've been standing here, so obviously it's a hit. You got a few things you're going to wrap up with it. Enjoy the truck. We hope you get top dollar when you decide to sell it. Victor Perez, you guys can check him out on Instagram. Thank you, Victor.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Back in the back, we got Rolando Betancourt _90. Rolando's got a 70. He's got a 71, 72 grill, 72 front bumper. This thing is dumped. Rolando, R&B Customs. Tell us a little bit about this dumped on 24s C10, brother.
Yeah, RB Custom, man, it started about 5 years ago. Me and my dad started building this truck. We started about 6 to 7 years messing with trucks, you know. And then we end up picking up this long bed. It's a 70 model. I put a 71, 72 grill. And the bumper also as well, you know, to match the year model. And we went ahead and cut it down from a long bed to a short bed. I kept the stack pockets right there just to, you know, that's my signature pretty much, you know, that is a short bed. We went ahead and cut the rear end. I put a 2019 rear end underneath it, and I got a 2019 rear end 6-slug. I kept the 6-slug 67 to 70 model. It came with the 6-slug, and then in 71, 72 we changed to the 5-lug. So I kept the 6-slug. I put a new rear end on there, disc brakes, and I did the conversion in the front for the 6-lug. So we kept it, you know, did the swap, and I got a 6.0 on there with the 4L60 transmission. It's holding on pretty good, you know. I went through a few already, you know, the talk about the 4L60s, but other than that, it's just pretty running good and everything. I got my interior done about 2 years ago, and it's got the back seat. It's out of a 99 Chevrolet OBS, and it's the back seat out of the crew caps. And I went and had it reupholstered and did the steering column and everything, so everything matches inside, you know. I got the peanut butter interior, carpet and all that. I got the Dakota digitals on there. Everything's running fine, you know. And that's about it, man. Everything's still a work in progress, you know. Little by little, it's getting better.
Well, I tell you what, I saw you rolling earlier, and I was like, man, I got to go find this guy, and you were all the way in the back. Do you have a name for this truck?
I do call it La Payasa. It means like a clown, you know.
La Payasa?
La Payasa, right. I chose that name because when I first cut it down to a short bed, my whole bed was primer. You know, it was primer, and I was riding it like that. A lot of people say, no, why are you riding like that? I'm driving this truck, you know, I don't care. It's going to drive no matter what. If it's different colors, it's fine. So that's why I end up calling it like that, you know. La Payasa means a clown. And that's what I named it, you know, and other than that, it's all pretty good.
I kind of was thinking when you said peanut butter inside, and the exterior looks like a raspberry jelly, you know what I mean? It's got that color, so you've got that look. How did you pick this color? That's not something you're going to see on a, you know, 67 to 72 truck.
Right. The color, I was actually at the paint at the paint shop, and I was gonna choose a gray color, a really dark gray. I can't remember the name of it. And then I was pulling up to the paint booth. To the paint shop, and I saw this Toyota Camry, a 2011 Toyota Camry. So I went in there and I asked the lady, can I look inside your glove compartment? Let me look at this code. So I went ahead inside the store and I got the code. It's a burgundy. They call it Barcelona red. That's the name of it. And it's out of a 2011 Toyota Camry. And we just added some more pearl to it. That was about it.
And you had to be happy with the way it turned out. So Barcelona red, 2011 Toyota Camry. It really looks good.
Yeah. It's just a different color for this year model. Everything else is based on the two-tone and all that. I kept the one color and I went ahead and changed the color completely, matching my control arms from. These are custom control arms from Tony out back there in Alvarado, Texas. So it's all good, man. Yes, sir.
That's my boy right there. Look at him. Johnny Oro driving the prom queen in the background. Dennis, life's good. Life's good. Hey, we've tried to get the prom queen here for 5 years, and now Rick's coming behind him, so we're definitely distracted. You got the two topless Blazers, the Provost boys, so that didn't take much for me to get distracted. Okay, so you're running what, 24 intros, 24 15s in the rear, and what are you up front?
It's 24s, 24 by 9 in the front and 24 by 15s in the rear. I'm running that 405 Pirelli tire back there, and I got the other Lexani tires up right in the front.
Anything else you want to do? I like that. You referenced the 99 rear seat. It works perfect in here. It fits good. A few modifications for the seat brackets, I assume.
Yeah. I went ahead and took the stock bracket off of that, and I went ahead and fabricated myself, make it a little bit shorter and tilt back a little bit. But everything fits fine.
Somebody engraved that for you. It looks really classy on there. I really think it just kind of adds to your truck.
That is JP Patino, JP Engraving. He's on Instagram as JP Engraving. He engraved it about 3 years ago, and I went ahead a little bit of a different touch to it.
Any other things that you want to do to complete the truck? Obviously with the 2415, you had to narrow the rear end. You had to retub the bed. You went solid all the way around. The trim looks good. What's next? You done? Just drive the shit out of it?
We're gonna be doing the air conditioning, the vintage air. Eventually, we're gonna go ahead and change out the bed floor. We're gonna go ahead and do some custom sheet metal work on it, and then the tubs, since they're just plain black, we're gonna go ahead and match it with the color of the truck and switch it out a little bit. A little bit of a different touch, a different year, different something to it.
You getting a lot of love out here?
Oh yeah, man. We come out here every year, and it's always good to see. They look at your work, and especially these other two trucks out here. I built them too myself, and it's always good, to see the, people, excited about how they're coming out and everything.
Yeah, you're getting the recognition, so good for you. So remind us one more time, is it RB Customs or what is your Instagram?
It's RB Customs. That's just my name that I came up with it. I do a little fabrication on the side myself, nothing open to public. It's just me and a few buddies that we just gather, ideas and put it together. But my Instagram is Rolando Betancourt _90, and that's what I go by. That's
there you go, guys. You can look it up. You can look up the truck. Check it out. Big hoops, doing it up Houston style. Rolando, thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you, brother. All right.
Starting things off Sunday morning, came over here to the enclosed building, and damn, son, again with the orange Budnick wheels. She's a bad bitch. So I got Carissa Hart. She's out of South Houston. Carissa, right on the firewall, it says not his. So we're making it very clear that, that this is your truck. Thanks for taking time to be on C10 Talk. Tell us about your jewel here.
All right. She is a 71 C10 with a 427 Texas speed with a 2.9 Whipple.
So she's bad.
Yes.
So how did you end up with a C10 with a 427 with a Whipple?
Well, I've always wanted a truck, and then we just found her out of the woodlands, started putting her together, and that's where she is.
So your husband builds race engines and race stuff, and he's a fab guy. So you've got a guy to kind of, give you some ideas. Is this a kind of a collaboration between the two of you? Or do you say, I really like this, I want to do this, and then he makes it happen?
Second. Yes.
Yes.
We talk about it. We push some stuff around. Then we decide on what we got. He built the headers, go all the way through to the back, to the exhaust. And she's great. One of a kind.
How much drive time have you had in her?
100 miles.
100 miles, so she's just getting broke in. So how about that Acme chassis? That's what you started off. You found a short bed truck. It's a beautiful orange 71, and it's been repainted for the audience. It's a hugger orange, like a real bright, not Chevy orange, but I would say hugger orange. She looks really good, really classy. She's wrapped in these Budniks. Did you pick the wheels?
We did. That's a tungsten with a matte finish. We thought it would look nice with the wood grain, and I think it really turned out well.
I do as well. Now, what's been the response this weekend out here in the Acme booth?
There's been a lot of pictures taken, a lot of videos, a lot of questions. I think everyone's happy with the way she looks.
Are you happy with it?
I am.
What's left?
We got to get the hood mounted, just little details, small things.
So you went with a coilover. You've got big horsepower. Are you going to put this thing on the track? What do you envision happening with this truck in the next 5 years?
I'm going to be driving her. She's not going to be daily, but I'm going to take her to work once a week. We're going to pick up a Christmas tree in her. She's going to be driven. And we're going to do some of the road courses. We've been invited to do that. So I look forward to seeing what she can do.
Yeah, I think she's going to be, like I said, one bad bitch. Do you have a name?
Not his.
Not his. All right. Not his.
My license plate matches.
Okay, so let's walk around here. Like she said, her husband did all the exhaust. They've got a nice little cutout in the rear. She's got the not his license plate, and I don't know, are you running 22s back here?
Yes, that is correct. 22s all around. Yes.
22 10.5 on the rear. Willwood brakes. The other thing that's cool, I guess, come over here, Carissa, is on a 71, you are normally going to have a little bit different setup. You went with the Hot Rod Innovations to kind of give it that 68 look. Do you like the 68 grill, or what kind of prompted this?
Well, honestly, I didn't like the blue emblem that's factory, so we decided to go with this and get it painted to match the wood grain and the wheels as well. I think it really turned out well.
So on the inside of the Hot Rod Innovations, they make the grill inset that makes it look like a 68, 67, 68. And then on the inside, and I'll do a video and it'll be up on the C10 Talk Instagram social, you'll see where they did the kind of the tungsten, it's like a brown color. And you guys definitely made that all match. Can't wait to see it with the hood on, because it'll throw us off with the bigger 71 hood and then having that 68 style front lip. I think all in all, man, you've really got to be proud of this truck. She's killer color, killer wheels. People are just going to be loving this thing. I can't wait to see it get out on the road. What's your Instagram?
Not his, C10.
Okay, not his. I'm loving this. This is easy. So, not his C10. You guys can go online there and check out Carissa's page. Check out the truck. Can't wait to see you out there.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you. You made it. Congratulations, all the way to the end. Remember, if you haven't had time to check out 207, Jason Cassidy's Customs, I'm telling you, it's a rad one. Check it out. 208, this one, you made it through it. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, support those that support you, support our sponsors, and please take the time, leave us a review, share the pod. If you need some gear, support the pod, c10nation.com, c10nation.com. Have a great week, guys. Late.